Let God handle it. Stop worrying, start trusting. There comes a moment in every life when worry no longer serves us, when the mind, heavy with questions, exhausts itself trying to control what was never ours to manage. We pace, we pray, we plead, and yet the answer is already within us, waiting in the silence. You were not born to live in fear. You were not created to struggle beneath the weight of doubt. The truth, hidden in plain sight, is that the God you seek is not far off, seated in some distant realm. The power that moves mountains, heals wounds, and orders the universe dwells in you. This is the turning point, when you stop striving outwardly and begin to trust inwardly, when you release the need to fix everything and finally say, not in despair, but in power, let God handle it. Today, we awaken to the truth that you don't need to fight for your miracle. You only need to assume it, trust it, and rest in it. For what you accept as true in your heart becomes the law of your world. Imagination is the gateway to the divine. In the silence of your heart, within the depths of your consciousness, there exists a faculty more powerful than all the forces of nature combined. This faculty is called imagination. It is not a whimsical escape into fantasy, nor is it a simple daydream. Imagination is the sacred tool that aligns your soul with the very pulse of the divine. It is the gateway through which all things are made manifest. We often look outward to the world, seeking solutions, answers, and guidance, not realizing that all we need is already contained within us. The kingdom of God is not a distant realm, nor is it far from us. It is within us, nestled in our hearts and minds, waiting for us to claim it. It is in your imagination that you come closest to God, for God, in his infinite wisdom, speaks to you through the images you hold in your mind. These images, whether conscious or unconscious, are the blueprint of your reality. Many people, in their anxious striving, forget the power of this inner faculty. They turn to external circumstances and outer forces, believing that their world is shaped by what happens to them, by what others say or do. But the truth is, your world is shaped by what you imagine. In the same way that an artist paints a canvas or a sculptor molds clay, you too are a creator. Your imagination is your divine canvas, and with every thought, every vision, you paint your world into being. This creative process is not abstract. It is not reserved for the few who are artists or dreamers. It is the birthright of every person. When you begin to consciously use your imagination, you are tapping into the very source of life itself. The power of imagination is not just a tool for manifesting material desires. It is the method by which you commune with the divine, by which you align your life with the wisdom of the ages. The Bible, in its mystical depth, speaks to us about the power of imagination without explicitly naming it as such. When it says, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he," it is revealing the truth that your inner world, your thoughts, and the images you hold are the seeds from which your outer world grows. God is not a distant force separate from you. God is the creative power within you, operating through your imagination. The moment you begin to imagine something, you are engaging with the divine spark inside of you. To understand this more clearly, let us look at an example. Imagine that you are facing a challenge in your life, a difficult situation, a fear or a worry that seems insurmountable. If you immediately react by focusing on the problem, feeding it with more anxious thoughts and feelings, you are only reinforcing the very thing you wish to change. This is how most people live, reacting to the outer circumstances with fear, worry, and stress, never realizing that the true power lies in the inner world. But now consider a different approach. What if, instead of reacting, you consciously entered the realm of imagination? What if you closed your eyes and, in your mind's eye, saw the resolution to the problem, felt the peace, saw yourself victorious, calm, and free? When you do this, you are no longer subject to the outward conditions. You have tapped into the true creative power within. You have let go of trying to control the external, and you have surrendered to the inner vision of peace and success. This is where the divine operates, not in your outward striving, but in your inward imagining. Imagination, when used in this sacred way, is not only a tool for personal transformation, it is a way of co-creating with God. The divine intelligence flows through you when you trust this process. It is not just you imagining, it is the God within you imagining through you, shaping the world around you in alignment with your desires. But here's the truth that many fail to see. You are always imagining, whether consciously or unconsciously. The problem is that most people imagine their problems, their fears, and their limitations. They imagine lack, struggle, and despair, and these are the very things they bring into existence. But when you consciously decide to imagine peace, prosperity, health, and joy, you are aligning your thoughts and feelings with the highest expression of the divine. Imagination is not about escapism, it is about alignment. It is about tuning into the divine frequency that already exists within you and seeing the world as it is meant to be, not as it appears in the moment. The power of imagination lies in the fact that it transcends time and space. When you imagine, you are not bound by what is happening in the external world. You are stepping into the realm of the eternal, where all things are possible and where God's perfect plan is already unfolding. In this light, imagination becomes your sacred connection to the divine will. It is how you experience the eternal presence of God, not as a distant figure, but as the very essence of your being. When you dare to imagine the highest good, you are embracing your true identity as a child of God, one who is meant to create and shape the world with the power of their mind and heart. So the next time you find yourself troubled or worried, remember this: the answer is not out there in the world. The answer is within you, waiting to be revealed through the power of your imagination. When you trust this divine process, when you allow your imagination to align with God's infinite wisdom, you will find that the world around you shifts. The circumstances that once seemed impossible will fall into place effortlessly, for you will have trusted in the only true power, the power that resides in you. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The essence of creation lies not in effort, but in assumption. The world as you know it is not merely shaped by what you see and touch, but by what you feel and believe. The very nature of God's power within you operates through the feeling of your desire already fulfilled. It is in the inner conviction that what you seek is already yours, that you unlock the door to the divine manifestation of your dreams. Too often, we are caught in the trap of looking for proof before we believe. We look outwardly, expecting to see change before we trust in it, but here lies the profound truth. The outer world is a reflection of your inner state, and it is only when you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled that the external will change to match it. This is not a mere act of wishful thinking, it is the law of creation at work. To assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled means to live in the end result of what you desire. Imagine that you already have what you seek. Feel it, embody it, know it in the depths of your being. When you do this, you are not merely imagining a future event, you are claiming the reality of your desire in the present moment. You are living as though it is already yours, and in doing so, you align yourself with the universal flow of abundance and grace. This law is rooted in the most sacred principle, as within, so without. Your external reality is a mirror of your inner state. Therefore, when you feel your wish fulfilled in your heart, when you carry the vibration of that fulfillment, you are opening the channels for it to manifest in your life. It is not the how that matters, but the certainty in your being that it is already done. When you trust in the unseen, you call it forth from the realm of the invisible into the visible world. But to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you must first release the grip of doubt and fear. These are the barriers that stand between you and the realization of your desire. Doubt says it's not possible. Fear says I am not worthy. But faith says it is already done. Faith operates not from the outer world, but from the inner knowing that what you believe is more real than what you can see. In the Bible it is written, and Jesus said unto them, If ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, Remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. This is not a promise of magic, it is a promise of the power of your own consciousness. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are aligning your mind with the creative power of the universe. In this alignment, nothing is impossible. Consider this: when you experience a desire, you are not merely seeking an outcome, you are seeking a feeling of joy, peace, freedom, or love. The outer circumstances are simply the vehicles through which that feeling will manifest. If you can live in the feeling of that desire being already realized, then the circumstances will shift to match it. Your mind is the creator of your world, and the feeling is the force that brings it into form. This process is not about waiting for the world to change and then believing. It is the opposite. You must believe first, and then the world will change. You do not need to see the evidence before you believe. Belief creates the evidence. To assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled is to trust that the unseen is just as real as the seen, and that your internal state is the true source of creation. Now, you might wonder how this works in practical terms. How do you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled in a tangible way? It begins with imagining yourself already living the life you desire. Close your eyes and vividly picture the life you want. See it clearly in your mind's eye, as though it is happening right now. Feel the emotions that come with it, whether it's the joy of success, the peace of health, or the love of a fulfilling relationship. Let these feelings rise within you until they become real. As you do this, speak to yourself as though it is true. Affirm the reality of your desire with the same confidence you would have if it were already manifest. You must not merely think about the desire, you must live it. Feel the joy, the gratitude, and the peace as though it is already yours. The more vividly you can embody this feeling, the more quickly your desire will be drawn into your physical experience. The law of assumption is not a law of time or space, it transcends both. It operates in the realm of consciousness, where what you believe is. When you live in the assumption of your wish fulfilled, you no longer strive, you no longer struggle, you rest in the knowledge that what you seek is already on its way to you, and that your only role is to align yourself with it. This act of assumption is not passive. It is the most powerful and active state you can embody. It is the conscious creation of your life in alignment with the divine. So, from this moment forward, let go of doubt. Stop questioning whether or not it is possible. Instead, step into the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Assume it with the full force of your being. The universe is already responding to your vibration, and it is now only a matter of time before what you have assumed in your heart becomes your external reality. Your inner speech shapes your world. The words you speak outwardly have power. This we know. But there is a deeper, more transformative force at work within you, one that often goes unnoticed, the inner speech of your mind. This inner dialogue is the silent architect of your world, shaping your reality in ways far more profound than any external words ever could. What you say to yourself in the stillness of your thoughts, in the quiet chambers of your heart, has the greatest influence on the life you lead. We are constantly in conversation with ourselves, whether we realize it or not. The mind is a continuous stream of words, images, and thoughts, yet most people pay little attention to what they say to themselves. They do not realize that the voice they carry inside them, the voice that speaks their thoughts, desires, doubts, and fears, is more powerful than anything that is said externally. The words you repeat in the silence of your mind are what ultimately create the world around you. The Bible speaks of the power of the tongue, saying, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof." This verse is often interpreted as referring to outward speech, but there is a deeper meaning to be found in the hidden language of the mind. The words you speak to yourself, your inner speech, are the true seeds from which your life grows. It is through this inner conversation that you plant the seeds of your experiences, whether they are of abundance, peace, or fear. Every thought you have carries with it a vibration, a frequency that resonates with the universe. When you constantly tell yourself that you are not good enough, that you can never succeed, or that things will never change, you are sending out a signal that aligns with these beliefs. The law of attraction operates through this inner speech. What you constantly affirm within yourself, whether positive or negative, is what you will attract into your life. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, responds to the frequency of your inner dialogue, bringing into your life what you focus on most. This is why it is so crucial to become aware of your inner speech. The stories you tell yourself about who you are, what you can have, and what you deserve are the very stories that shape your external reality. If you believe you are unworthy of love, success, or happiness, that belief will manifest in your life. If you constantly tell yourself that opportunities are scarce, that you will never achieve your dreams or that you are doomed to failure, then that will become your experience. The words you use in your own mind, whether they are spoken aloud or only thought, carry a power far greater than you may have realized. To begin changing your life, you must first change your inner speech. This is not a superficial exercise, but a deep, transformative practice. It requires that you take control of your thoughts, that you consciously choose the words you allow to occupy your mind. Begin by recognizing the negative patterns of speech that have become ingrained in your thinking. The constant barrage of self-criticism, the doubts, the fears, they all have one thing in common. They are based on a false perception of reality. These thoughts are not who you truly are. They are simply the product of conditioning, of limiting beliefs that no longer serve you. Once you become aware of this inner dialogue, you can begin to shift it. Start by replacing the negative, disempowering thoughts with positive affirmations that align with your highest good. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," say, "I am capable of anything I set my mind to." Instead of saying, "I am not worthy of success," say, "I deserve all the abundance the universe has to offer." Speak to yourself as though you are already the person you wish to become. When you change the conversation you are having with yourself, you change the conversation that the universe is having with you. This shift in inner speech is not just about repeating words. It is about aligning your thoughts with your desires. Words alone have no power unless they are backed by feeling. So when you affirm your worthiness, your success, or your peace, you must do so with the feeling of already having it. This is the key. Your inner speech must carry with it the energy of belief. When you speak to yourself in a way that reflects your deepest desires, you activate the creative forces of the universe to bring those desires into form. It is important to remember that your inner speech is not limited to the spoken word. It includes the images, beliefs, and assumptions you hold within your mind. If you think of yourself as someone who is constantly struggling, someone who can never catch a break, then that is the image you are reinforcing. But if you see yourself as someone who is powerful, capable, and deserving of all the good things life has to offer, then that image will become your reality. Your inner world, shaped by your speech and beliefs, dictates the outer world you experience. The moment you begin to master your inner speech, you begin to master your life. The power to change your circumstances lies in your ability to change the conversation within. When you stop allowing fear, doubt, and limitation to dominate your inner dialogue, and instead replace them with words of faith, love, and possibility, you begin to unlock the door to your highest potential. The words you speak to yourself will not only shape your reality, they will determine the course of your life. Remember, the voice inside you is not just your own, it is the voice of the divine speaking through you. When you align your inner speech with the truth of who you are, a limitless being capable of great things, you step into your true power, and from that place of empowerment, the world around you will transform. Surrender is not weakness, it's power in a world that constantly encourages striving, struggling, and overcoming. The concept of surrender is often misunderstood. It is frequently seen as a form of weakness, something to be avoided, something that signals defeat. In the minds of many, surrender conjures images of passivity, giving up, or admitting failure. But true surrender is not a sign of weakness. Rather, it is the ultimate expression of power and trust in the divine order of the universe. It is the quiet strength that comes when you release the need to control every outcome and instead trust that a higher intelligence is at work, guiding and supporting you. Surrender is not about giving up on your dreams or resigning yourself to fate. It is about releasing the need to force or manipulate things to happen in a particular way. When we think of surrender, we might imagine someone raising their hands in submission or bowing their head in defeat. But in reality, surrender is an act of profound strength. It is the ability to let go of resistance and align yourself with the flow of life, trusting that what is meant for you will come at the right time and in the right way. The truth is that the more we try to control everything, the more we create resistance in our lives. We struggle, we force, and we exhaust ourselves trying to control outcomes that are simply not in our hands. When we live in constant striving, we build walls of stress, fear, and anxiety around ourselves. These walls create blockages, preventing the flow of abundance, peace, and joy that is meant to be ours. In contrast, Surrender is the act of releasing these walls and allowing ourselves to flow freely with the current of life. The spiritual path teaches us that we are not separate from the divine, we are expressions of it. The divine intelligence that created the stars, the planets, and all of existence is the same intelligence that resides within us. When we surrender to this higher wisdom, we are aligning ourselves with the greatest power in the universe. It is when we let go of our limited perspective and trust that there is a divine plan unfolding, even when we cannot see it, that we step into true power. Surrender is not an abandonment of responsibility. It does not mean sitting passively and waiting for things to happen. It does not mean that we stop working toward our goals, that we cease to take action, or that we stop caring about the outcome. Surrender is the acknowledgement that while we may do our part in the world, we are not the sole architects of our destiny. We allow space for the universe to work its magic, trusting that what we need will arrive at the right time. It is the understanding that our will is not separate from the will of the divine, and that by aligning ourselves with the flow of life, we are allowing ourselves to experience true success and fulfillment. One of the greatest barriers to surrender is the ego, the part of us that believes it knows best. The ego wants control. It wants to decide how things should unfold and when they should happen. It is deeply rooted in fear and desire for security, and it is constantly trying to prove its worth through accomplishments and achievements. The ego tells us that we must always be in charge, that we must always be doing, and that to let go is to risk failure. But the truth is, the more we cling to control, the more we remain trapped in fear, doubt, and frustration. The ego cannot see the bigger picture. It does not know the timing of the universe or the hidden blessings that are already on their way to us. It is in letting go of the ego's need to control that we open ourselves to the greater wisdom and abundance that is already present in our lives. To surrender is to place your trust in something greater than yourself, something that knows exactly what you need, when you need it, and how it will come. This trust is not blind faith. It is the recognition that the universe, or God, is not separate from us, but is intimately connected to us. The divine intelligence that governs the cosmos is the same intelligence that guides us from within. When we surrender, we are not giving up. We are trusting in the perfection of the process. We are saying, I trust that everything is unfolding as it should, and I am willing to allow it to unfold in its own time and way. This kind of surrender is not passive. It is not about giving up or giving in. It is an active decision to release the need for control and to trust the process of life. It is the act of placing our desires, our fears, and our expectations in the hands of the divine and saying, I trust that everything is working for my highest good, and I am open to receiving it in the most perfect form. This trust creates an opening, allowing the energy of the universe to flow freely through us, bringing with it the opportunities, blessings, and solutions we need. When we surrender, we are not abandoning our goals. Instead, we are releasing the need to dictate the details of how those goals will come to fruition. Surrender means being willing to release attachment to the specific outcomes we have envisioned and instead remaining open to the ways in which the universe may deliver something even greater. It is an invitation to receive the fullness of life, not just in the form we expect, but in the form that is most aligned with our highest good. Surrendering is also the act of embracing the present moment, free from the anxiety of what has happened in the past or what might happen in the future. When we stop trying to control everything, we can experience life more fully. We can enjoy the present moment with all of its beauty and wonder without being caught up in the endless cycle of what-ifs and shoulds. This freedom from the past and future allows us to live in alignment with the divine flow of life, which is always unfolding perfectly. Moreover, true surrender is not something that is done once and then forgotten. It is a continual process, a way of being. Every time you find yourself slipping into the grip of control, into the fear of the unknown, you have the opportunity to surrender again. Every time you feel the urge to manipulate, to force, or to struggle, you can choose to pause and trust the divine intelligence that is at work within you. Surrender becomes a practice, a conscious choice to let go and allow the greater forces of life to guide you. In doing so, you discover a profound peace. You release the tension and struggle that comes with constantly trying to make things happen, and you open yourself to the flow of ease and grace. Surrender is not about passivity or inaction. It is about knowing when to take action and when to step back and allow things to unfold. It is about having the courage to trust that the universe has your back and that everything is happening for your highest good, even if it doesn't look the way you thought it would. True power lies in surrender. It is the strength to let go, to trust, and to flow with the current of life. When you surrender, you are not giving up. You are stepping into your full power as a co-creator with the divine. You are the creator of your reality from the moment of your conception. The universe has been whispering to you, offering you the creative power to shape your life. Yet most of us have been taught to believe that life simply happens to us, that we are victims of circumstance, that we must accept whatever comes our way without the ability to truly influence or direct our fate. This belief is one of the most limiting illusions of human existence. In reality, you are not a passive participant in the unfolding of your life. You are the creator, the architect, and the director of your reality. You are not merely a product of your environment, your upbringing, or your past experiences. You are not bound by the limitations of your circumstances or the judgments of others. The truth is that you are an active co-creator with the universe, wielding the power of your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions to bring into being the life that you desire. The world you see around you, the relationships, opportunities, the challenges, and the joys, is a direct reflection of what is happening within you. The power of creation lies in the conscious awareness that you are constantly sending out vibrations into the universe. Every thought, every feeling, every belief you hold carries a frequency. This frequency is what attracts similar frequencies from the universe. In essence, you are a magnet, drawing to you the experiences and circumstances that match the energy you are emitting. This is not magic or coincidence. This is the law of attraction at work. You are always creating your reality. Whether you are aware of it or not, one of the most important realizations you can have is that you are not a passive observer of life. The events and conditions you experience are not happening to you, but are a direct result of the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs you hold. The way you perceive the world, the way you view yourself, and the expectations you have about life all contribute to the creation of your reality. This means that if you do not like what you are experiencing, you have the power to change it. You have the ability to change your perception, to shift your focus, and consciously create a new reality. Your thoughts are the seeds from which your life grows. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation in your mind, you will reap the fruit of those beliefs, experiencing a life filled with struggle, disappointment, and lack. But if you plant seeds of positivity, possibility, and abundance, your life will begin to reflect those qualities. The more you focus on what you want, rather than on what you fear or want to avoid, the more you begin to attract those desires into your experience. This process requires conscious effort. It is not enough to simply wish for something and wait for it to show up. You must actively cultivate the mindset that supports your dreams. This means aligning your thoughts, your beliefs, and your emotions with the vision you hold for your life. You must cultivate an unwavering belief in the possibility of your desires and take inspired action in the direction of those desires. As you do this, the universe responds to your energy, and the opportunities, resources, and people that will help you manifest your vision begin to appear. One of the most powerful ways to become a conscious creator of your reality is through visualization. Visualization is the act of seeing in your mind's eye the reality you wish to create as though it is already happening. This practice allows you to tap into the creative power of your imagination, which is one of the most potent tools you have at your disposal. When you vividly imagine your desires as though they are already here, you are sending a powerful signal to the universe that you are ready to receive them. The more you visualize, the more you align yourself with the energy of those desires, and the more quickly they begin to manifest. But visualization alone is not enough. It is essential that you also embody the feelings of your desired reality. When you visualize, allow yourself to feel the emotions that would come with the fulfillment of your desires. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the excitement, and the peace as though it is already yours. This emotional energy is the magnetic force that draws your desires into your experience. The universe responds to your vibration, not just to your thoughts, but to the energy you radiate. When you align your emotions with your vision, you create a powerful force that accelerates the manifestation process. As you begin to embrace the fact that you are the creator of your reality, you may encounter resistance. This resistance often comes from old beliefs, fears, or patterns of thinking that have been ingrained over time. You may find yourself thinking, "This sounds too good to be true," or "I've tried this before and it didn't work." These thoughts are a natural part of the process, but they do not have to define your experience. In these moments of doubt, remind yourself that your beliefs shape your reality, and that it is never too late to change your beliefs and change your life. The moment you consciously choose to let go of limiting beliefs, you open yourself up to a new world of possibilities. Another powerful tool in creating your reality is gratitude. When you practice gratitude, you are acknowledging the abundance that already exists in your life. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is lacking to what is present, and this shift in focus brings more of what you desire into your experience. When you are grateful for the small blessings in your life, you are signaling to the universe that you are ready to receive more. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrations you can emit, and it is a powerful tool for attracting more of what you want into your life. One of the most empowering aspects of realizing that you are the creator of your reality is that you understand that you are never at the mercy of external circumstances. You are not at the mercy of other people's opinions, the economy, or even the challenges you may face. You are the master of your experience, and by changing your inner world, your thoughts, your beliefs, and your emotions, you can change the outer world that you experience. No matter what has happened in the past, you have the power to create a new future. You are the creator of your reality because you are a divine being endowed with the power of creation. This power is always within you, waiting to be harnessed. When you take responsibility for your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, you take responsibility for life you create. You realize that you are not a victim, but a creator, and with this realization comes freedom. The freedom to design your life, to manifest your dreams, and to live a life that is in alignment with your highest purpose. You are the creator of your reality. The world is waiting for you to step into your power and create the life you deserve. When you take full responsibility for your creation, you unlock the limitless potential within you. The universe will always respond to your energy, and as you raise your vibration and align your inner world with your desires, your outer world will transform in miraculous ways.